Welcome back. On Thursday, I attended the Joyous Persistence Conference for Women Activists in San Francisco, where I had the chance to do a 40-minute Q&A with Senator Elizabeth Warren. It was a wide-ranging conversation that covered many topics, but none more important than the Senate's inaction on holding Donald Trump accountable for his ties to Russia. Take a look.
The Russia infiltration into the election gets more alarming every day. It is really shocking the extent to which they were able to have contact with people who are now in government or would have been had they not been cashiered out. Is there behind the scenes a level of alarm equal to the level of outrage outside of the Senate chamber?
No. 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 So look, I'm with you. There is not the level of alarm.
So
there is not the level of pushback. There is not the level of, oh my God, what's going on here? It's not happening. And this really has me scared. Look, think about, well, let's talk about it for a sec. Why not? Oh, hang on. So just think about just a few of the things we know, right? Our intelligence agencies across the board have made it clear that the Russians hacked into American systems in order to influence the outcome of the 2016 election. This is not debatable. This is not alternative facts. This is known. And there is lots of evidence on this. They don't want to make all the evidence public, but they will make it public to every representative and every senator and a president, were that president interested in seeing it, right? The information is there. Yeah. So this part, we know for sure. We know that now high officials in the Trump administration have had to resign because of their direct contact with the Russians. And we also know, out of the mouth of Donald Trump himself, that he said that he wanted to, that he was firing FBI Director Comey, at least in part, because he wanted to shut down that investigation into the connections between Russia, the United States, the Trump campaign, and Trump himself. Now, if I had described those three facts to you a year ago, didn't even have to use the name of a president, used any president, oh, like President Clinton, or some other president, right? You would have said, this would not be partisan. There would be Democrats and Republicans all over this. They would be all over this. And instead, we have a lot of Republicans who have just not been willing to step up to the plate. In fact, the principal thing, I want you to watch what the Republicans are doing. This is really important. We talk about Donald Trump, but ma'am, we got to talk about what the Republican majority in the House and the Senate is doing as well. Right now, they've got a president who will sign off on pretty much anything that they can get organized and get through. And that means they're out there doing trickle-down economics on steroids. They're out there rolling back the regulations and trying to do everything they can to help that thin slice at the top. And they're doing it. I mean, so just look at the first weeks after Donald Trump was sworn in, and what happens? So Congress passes a bill, and Trump signs off to make it easier for federal contractors to steal employees' wages. Stays right underneath the radar screen, right? Makes it easier for companies that kill or maim their employees, right? To be able to hide that fact. They've just one after another, right? That they just keep going through, rolling back these regulations. Regulations on the silica dust that people breathe. You know, every time, how can we help out corporate America at the cost of working America? And they're just pushing those things through.
And but when you're in the chamber, what are they saying to justify it?
They don't. This is the part I think that frustrates me in some ways. Well, okay, I can't pick the part that frustrates me the most. I will use that phrase like 94 times in the next 10 minutes. But this one is frustrating. We stand up. I do this. Yeah. I stood up on every one of these bills. I stand up and talk about them and fight about them. It's true. And often it's in an empty chamber. And if there is a Republican there, there's always at least one Republican because they have to sit in the chair when we're in session. And I'll look at the Republican, and the Republican's like, and nobody engages, because I do ask this question. I asked this question. I said, oh, so what was the very first thing we passed? You ready? The very first one was it worked on a regulation for years, like going back to 2010, it was bipartisan. It had been introduced by a Republican back then that said basically, the short version was that American corporations that do business in the extraction industry, in oil and diamonds, have to reveal the payments they make to foreign governments. Everybody in here get what that's really about, right? Rex Tillerson, I've heard that name. Said at the time, it's terrible, terrible. You can't do that because if you do that, we won't be able to do business in Russia. Think about that. And so we finally get this regulation through that says, doesn't say they can't do it. Yeah. All it says is, you got to be public about it. You're going to have to tell, which frankly means the locals will know about it. And the rest of the world community will know about it. And what happened? One of the first bills we do just rolls that back. Yeah. So they can continue to keep those payments secret. And I still remember going to the floor to talk about what the bill did and to say, really? Is this who we've become as a country? Can just one Republican come down here and give me a justification why we should permit American corporations to go extract from these companies and to be able to make payments that they want to keep secret? Just give me the ration, just say it, what it is that's going on. And the answer was total silence. Yeah. And that's been true on every one of these regulations. This has been true with this latest judicial appointment. This is true over and over. And it is, we don't have to engage with you anymore. Right. We don't have to have a debate about this. We don't have to talk about how this happened. We have got the votes, the Republicans have said, and the Republicans are just going to roll this stuff through. And so this is why I come back to the importance of the day after the inauguration, the importance of the Science March, the importance of the fact that we took to the airports when Donald Trump put in place a Muslim ban, and that at least in Boston, boy, we did our rally the next week. The importance of this is to say, we don't have the numbers. We don't have the numbers in the United States Senate. We don't have the numbers in the House of Representatives. And we got a lot that can happen between now and November of 18. And look, I want everybody jazzed and ready to go and totally engaged and everybody voting in 18, but we got to fight these fights right now. And the only thing we've got is your voices to help back us up on this. That's all we've got.
All right, more of my interview with Senator Warren is next. And coming up in our next hour, the fight for the soul of the Democratic Party and a mystery surrounding Ivanka Trump, China, and shoes. More AM Joy after the break.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.